Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. The Miami Dolphins made a subtle but significant move this week that could impact their quarterback depth chart heading into training camp. On Thursday, the team announced the signing of Brett Gabbert, a name that may not yet be familiar to NFL fans, but one that carries a strong football lineage. Brett is the younger brother of Blaine Gabbert, the former first-round pick of the Jacksonville Jaguars, who's still kicking around the league as a seasoned veteran. For the Dolphins, adding Gabbert to the roster wasn't just about filling space. It's a calculated decision during a pivotal offseason. In order to make room for the rookie signal caller, the team waived edge defender William Bradley King, who spent last season on the practice squad and was already considered a long shot to crack the final 53-man roster. The signing signals not only confidence in Gabbert's potential, but also the team's commitment to building meaningful depth at one of the league's most crucial positions. Gabbert earned this opportunity the hard way. He first caught the eye of Dolphins coaches during rookie minicamp, where he was merely a tryout player, not even signed at that point. That he remained unsigned for nearly 2 weeks after that showing might suggest initial hesitation from the coaching staff, but it's more likely a reflection of the front office managing roster flexibility during the offseason shuffle. Now, officially part of the roster, Gabbert joins a quarterback room that includes veteran Tua Tagovailoa, recent addition Zach Wilson, and 7th-round rookie Quinn Ewers. While some may view the addition as minor, the NFL offseason often revolves around marginal gains and strategic depth, especially at quarterback. For Gabbert, it's a golden chance to turn heads during OTAs and training camp, potentially earning a spot on the practice squad or even forcing his way into a backup role if he performs above expectations. Gabbert's collegiate resume certainly brings a level of credibility to his name. Playing 6 seasons at Miami of Ohio, he started an impressive 53 games, an experience base that's not easy to find in rookie quarterbacks. During his time with the Red Hawks, Gabbert completed 778 starts. Of his 1,831 pass attempts, totaling 10,814 yards and 80 touchdown passes, he threw 30 interceptions, a relatively controlled number for a quarterback with that much game exposure. His completion percentage of 58.5% might not dazzle, but it's respectable given the system and competition. More importantly, Gabbert showed resilience, consistency, and leadership, traits that NFL teams look for in developmental QBs. Those numbers put him in elite company in the program's history. Second all-time in touchdown passes behind only Ben Roethlisberger, and third in career passing yards behind Roethlisberger and Zach Dysert. For a MAC program with a rich quarterback tradition, that's no small feat. But Gabbert wasn't just a pocket passer. He added value with his legs as well, rushing 294 times for 482 yards and 8 touchdowns throughout his college career. While he's not a dual-threat quarterback in the modern Lamar Jackson sense, he offers enough mobility to extend plays and execute bootlegs or zone reads, important traits in today's more dynamic offensive schemes. He also earned recognition for his work ethic and academic excellence, a 3-time All-MAC selection and a 4-time academic All-MAC honoree. Gabbert brings intelligence and maturity to the table, 2 attributes Dolphins offensive coordinator Frank Smith likely values. It's also worth noting that Smith attended Miami of Ohio too, forming a potential connection that may have played a role in Gabbert getting this shot. Sometimes familiarity helps break down doors, especially when the talent is there to back it up. With the addition of Gabbert, the Dolphins now have 4 quarterbacks on the roster, a fairly standard number during the offseason. This setup allows coaches to distribute reps, evaluate competition, and most importantly, safeguard against injury during high-volume practices. Having multiple young arms like Ewers and Gabbert also means Miami can explore different developmental paths. Gabbert, with his vast college experience, may be better suited for immediate backup duties or a fast-tracked learning curve, while Ewers, despite being a 7th-round pick, carries a high ceiling if polished properly. Meanwhile, veterans like Tagovailoa and Wilson bring stability and differing skill sets. Tua remains the unquestioned starter, especially after the recent extension discussions. while Wilson is looking to reboot his career after an underwhelming stint with the Jets. In this mix, Gabbert's role will likely be defined by how quickly he grasps the playbook and how well he performs under pressure during preseason. It's also worth reflecting on the player the Dolphins waived to make room for Gabbert, William Bradley King. His departure might not send shockwaves through the Alpha fan base, but it underscores how unforgiving the business of the NFL can be. Bradley King was with the team's practice squad last season and hadn't played a regular season snap since 2022. Despite showing flashes of potential earlier in his career, he struggled to gain traction in Miami's crowded edge rotation. His release frees up not only a roster spot, but also valuable reps for younger defenders during the summer grind. For Bradley King, this may not be the end of the road, but the harsh reality is that roster spots in the NFL are finite and must be earned every single day. His journey might continue elsewhere, but for now, his chapter in Miami is closed, just as Gabbert's is beginning. Looking ahead, the Dolphins' quarterback situation remains one of the more intriguing storylines of the offseason. Tagovailoa is coming off a strong season and finally has some long-term security, which should allow him to play freer and more confidently. Zach Wilson enters as a reclamation project with first-round pedigree, hoping that a change of scenery and reduced pressure can help him find consistency. Quinn Ewers, the rookie from Texas, is seen as a long-term developmental piece with raw arm talent. And then there's Gabbert, a player who's done everything right but is still climbing the ladder. His addition might not shake the AFC East power balance, but it's the kind of move that could quietly pay dividends later, especially if injuries or trades shake up the depth chart. The preseason will be his proving ground, and those reps will be crucial, not just for Gabbert's career, but for the Dolphins' contingency plans as a whole. From a broader perspective, Gabbert's story reflects a larger trend in the NFL: the growing importance of well-developed backups and third-string quarterbacks. As teams invest more in their starting QBs, the need for cost-controlled, smart, reliable backups has never been greater. Injuries, performance slumps, and even COVID-era considerations have all underscored the need for depth. Gabbert checks a lot of boxes for that role: experience, pedigree, mental sharpness, and coachability. Miami's decision to sign him isn't just about what he offers today, but what he could become in a year or two. Practice squads and reserve roles are often stepping stones, and in a league where opportunity meets preparation, Gabbert now has the chance to prove he belongs. Whether he makes the 53-man roster or starts on the practice squad, he's in the building. And in the NFL, that's everything. For Dolphins fans, this move might seem like a footnote during the long lull between the draft and training camp. But every team's season is shaped as much by the depth guys as by the stars. Injuries happen, slumps happen, and when they do, it's the next man up who defines whether a team treads water or stays competitive. Gabbert may never start a game for the Dolphins, but he now has the opportunity to learn, grow, and contribute in ways that matter. And with his college accolades, family background, and professional mindset, he's got a real shot at sticking around. It will be fascinating to see how he performs when the pads come on and the lights get bright. Because in this league, all it takes is one moment, a single drive, a fourth quarter comeback, a preseason highlight for an unknown name to become unforgettable. So as minicamps turn to full training camp and preseason looms, keep an eye on number Brett Gabbert. He's more than Blaine's little brother. He's a competitor, a leader, and now an NFL quarterback. The Dolphins gave him a jersey, a locker, and a shot. What he does with it is up to him. But history tells us that guys like Gabbert, experienced, overlooked, and hungry, often find ways to make noise. And who knows? A few months from now, we might be looking back at this quiet signing in May as the start of something that nobody saw coming. Welcome to Miami, Brett. Time to make it count. Still with us? Then show some love, hit that like button, and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? The NFL offseason is always filled with surprises, but few stories have generated as much excitement as the rumor that J.J. McCarthy is set to arrive at the Miami Dolphins. That's right, McCarthy, the highly touted quarterback prospect out of Michigan, is reportedly making his way to South Beach, and the expectations couldn't be higher. Fans are buzzing, analysts are scrambling to dissect what this means for the team, and the entire NFL landscape is watching closely. The Dolphins, already a strong contender in the AFC, could be on the verge of adding a dynamic new chapter to their franchise history. McCarthy's potential fit in Mike McDaniel's offense is an intriguing prospect, and the ripple effects could be massive. So let's dive deep into this developing story and unpack everything from McCarthy's skills, how he might fit in Miami, and what this could mean for the Dolphins' future. Buckle up, folks. Now let's set the stage. J. McCarthy is coming off a stellar college career where he led Michigan to impressive heights, including a national championship. His arm talent, mobility, and leadership on the field made him one of the most coveted quarterbacks in this year's draft class. But what really sets McCarthy apart is his poise under pressure and ability to make plays when it matters most. Scouts have raved about his football IQ and work ethic, often comparing him to some of the best young quarterbacks currently in the NFL. With rumors swirling about his move to Miami, the conversation immediately turns to how he will transition to the pro game, particularly in an offense that values quick decision-making and precision passing. The Dolphins system is complex but quarterback-friendly, and that could make McCarthy's adaptation smoother than for most rookies. But let's not forget, this is the Miami Dolphins we're talking about, a team that already boasts an impressive offensive arsenal. With weapons like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle stretching defenses vertically, plus a versatile running game anchored by Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane, Miami's offense is a nightmare for any defense. Adding McCarthy to the mix could elevate the Dolphins to a whole new level. His ability to extend plays with his legs and his accuracy on the move could be a perfect fit for Mike McDaniel's creative play calling. Imagine McCarthy rolling out, firing lasers downfield to Hill, or connecting on intermediate routes with Waddle and Stride. It's the kind of scenario that has Dolphins fans salivating. But of course, there's also the question of how McCarthy will handle the transition from college to the NFL. Speaking of transitions, the elephant in the room is Tua Tagovailoa. The Dolphins' current starting quarterback had one of his best seasons yet, leading Miami to the playoffs and putting up some impressive numbers along the way. Tua's accuracy, leadership, and chemistry with his receivers have been undeniable. So where does McCarthy fit into this equation? Is he coming in to compete immediately for the starting job, or is this more of a long-term investment by the Dolphins? Some insiders believe that McCarthy could be groomed behind Tua, learning the ropes for a season or two before eventually taking over. Others suggest that the Dolphins might be looking for a more immediate change, perhaps driven by concerns over Tua's long-term health and durability. Either way, McCarthy's arrival is bound to shake things up in Miami's quarterback room. Let's also consider the broader implications for the Dolphins' front office and coaching staff. General manager Chris Grier has been known for making bold moves in recent years, from the blockbuster trade for Tyreek Hill to aggressive free agency signings. Bringing in McCarthy would be yet another statement that the Dolphins are all in on building a sustainable winner. Meanwhile, head coach Mike McDaniel, with his reputation as an offensive innovator, could view McCarthy as the perfect raw material to mold into his ideal quarterback. McDaniel's system relies heavily on timing, accuracy, and creativity, all areas where McCarthy has shown promise. If this move does indeed happen, it would signal a continued commitment to evolving and adapting in an increasingly competitive AFC landscape. Of course, not everyone is convinced that McCarthy is the answer. For Miami, critics point to his occasional inconsistency at Michigan, particularly in games where he faced elite defensive fronts. There are questions about whether he can consistently make tight window throws at the next level, especially when faced with the speed and complexity of NFL defenses. Some skeptics also argue that Miami's offensive line issues could complicate McCarthy's development, putting him under more pressure than he experienced in college. However, supporters counter that McCarthy's resilience and ability to bounce back from mistakes are precisely what make him a strong candidate for success in the pros. The debate is heated, and understandably so. Bringing in a young quarterback always carries a mix of risk and reward. Meanwhile, the Dolphins fan base is already dreaming big. Social media has exploded with highlights of McCarthy's college performances, with fans imagining how those plays will translate in aqua and orange. Jerseys with McCarthy's name and number are already being mocked up by enterprising designers, and YouTube compilations are racking up millions of views. For a franchise that has long been searching for stability and star power at the quarterback position, the prospect of McCarthy wearing a Dolphins uniform feels like the dawning of a new era. Whether or not he can live up to the immense expectations remains to be seen, but the excitement is undeniably real. For a city that thrives on flash and flair, McCarthy's rumored arrival fits the Miami vibe perfectly. It's also worth noting how this move could impact the AFC East. The division is already one of the most competitive in the NFL, with the Bills led by Josh Allen, the Jets hopeful about Aaron Rodgers' return, and the Patriots retooling under a new regime. If McCarthy blossoms into a franchise quarterback, the Dolphins could have the firepower to dominate the division for years to come. Conversely, if the move doesn't pan out, it could set the franchise back significantly, especially considering the resources likely invested in acquiring McCarthy. That's the high-stakes nature of quarterback decisions in the modern NFL. One right move can make you a perennial contender, while one misstep can leave you scrambling for years. Miami's brass will be hoping they've made the former, not the latter. As we wait for official confirmation of McCarthy's move to the Dolphins, the speculation continues to swirl. Beat reporters, national analysts, and former players have all weighed in, offering various takes on how this will shake out. Some believe McCarthy could immediately push for playing time, while others suggest a more measured approach would be best. One thing's for sure, this story isn't going away anytime soon. Every throw McCarthy makes in off-season workouts, every interaction with teammates, and every soundbite from coaches will be dissected endlessly. For the Dolphins, managing the media circus and ensuring McCarthy's development stays on track will be key priorities moving forward. The spotlight is firmly on Miami now, and they'll need to navigate this with care and precision. In the end, whether McCarthy turns out to be the next great NFL quarterback or just another promising prospect who didn't quite make the leap, this moment marks a significant turning point for the Miami Dolphins. It represents ambition, risk, and the relentless pursuit of greatness that defines the NFL. For McCarthy, it's the beginning of a new chapter filled with both opportunity and immense pressure. For Dolphins fans, it's a chance to believe again in the promise of a young quarterback leading their team to glory. And for the rest of us watching from the sidelines, it's yet another fascinating storyline in a league that never fails to deliver drama. So stay tuned, folks. The McCarthy to Miami saga is just getting started, and you won't want to miss a single moment of it. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.